The law of God. What is it, and why did he give it? Well, you know, I'm sure. The law of God is the Ten Commandments, published in the time of Moses, written by God's finger in a supernatural way on tablets of stone. The law is the Ten Commandments. Actually, more than the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments are very full. It is amazing that all the code of righteousness, the entire code of holiness and righteousness, is compressed by God into 10 commandments. Divine genius. The 10 commandments is a summary. Moses, after giving the 10 commandments, does a great deal of teaching the details, what they mean. So, for example, thou shalt not kill, the commandment against murder. Maybe you don't know this. It includes not only murder of the body, taking of a life. Moses explains it includes murder of somebody's happiness, murder of somebody's liberty, taking someone, kidnapping, taking them into slavery. People today are debating, is the Bible for or against slavery? They're so ignorant of the Bible, the people who debate this, they don't understand. The Bible tells us that the murder sin includes even captivity and slavery against a person's will. The taking of the happiness of a parent or a wife or a husband or a child. The taking of somebody's self-respect. All these things are in the same family, of which the murder of the taking of a life is the chief sin in the family. Now, all that is explained in the chapters of Moses, in the first 5 books of the Bible. That is the law. Why did God give the law? Well, it's easy to understand. First, because it teaches about God himself. When you see the law, you see the character of God. God keeps his own laws. His laws are him. The laws are a picture of God's holy, righteous character and being. So the commandments tell us about God. But the commandments are also given as a tremendous act of kindness to the human race. God is kind in a way, even to masses of people who will never believe in him, even to people who will reject him, even to people who will slander him and sneer at him and dispose of him, even for people who will rebel against him. He shows a great measure of kindness in that he gives the law, the 10 commandments. Don't you see that without the law of God, published in the Bible, but also written in our hearts, so much of it is deeply etched in the heart as instincts into our conscience. The law of God makes this world bearable. It makes it possible to live here. It makes it a better place than it otherwise would be, because there is a code for life and there are standards. And we know if we break them, it's bad enough because of human sin, with all the wretchedness and the misery and the cruelty and the hatred and the bloodshed and the cheating and the extortion and the fraud and the disloyalty. It's a bad enough place. Think what it would be if God had not, in his great kindness, given his law, so that some of it still operates in our society. And then the third reason for the law, which is the very best reason, it is, as the Apostle Paul says, our schoolmaster to bring us to Christ. You've all left school, or the vast majority have left school. But you're still in school, in God's school, because God has given us a schoolmaster. It's his law, it's the commandments, it's our conscience and our awareness of right from wrong. And these things are designed by God to convict us, to enable us to see our sin. Take the Apostle Paul. He tells us this in his letter to the Romans. There he was, a self-righteous Pharisee, Saul of Tarsus. I think he was very well known among the Jewish hierarchy. He was a brilliant man. He was a great intellectual. He thought that by his own works of righteousness, he could achieve acceptance with God and go to heaven and be blessed, and God would be pleased with him by his meticulous observance of the Jewish ritual for the day. And that's what Saul of Tarsus thought. He tells us what made the difference. I had not known sin, he said. It did not dawn on me what sin was, and that I, of all people who thought so highly of myself, was a sinner and lost in the sight of God. I was his enemy. I was against him, and I didn't know him. I didn't realize that. This was the point at which he was convicted. I had not known sin, but for this, he says. The law said, thou shalt not covet. And one day, when I saw those words, I saw I coveted. What did he covet? A splendid house? A big income? I don't know about that. But I know he coveted a place. A big place in Jewish society, in the Jewish church. He coveted authority and influence and esteem. Thou shalt not covet. He said, when I really saw those words for the first time, this is his reaction, I died. Whatever does he mean? I died. What he means is his estimation of himself collapsed. I wasn't a fine, upright person. I wasn't the great individual I thought I was. I wasn't heaven-bound. I died. I became a terrified being, cringing from God. The law was his schoolmaster. It said to him, you did wrong. You've sinned. You will die. And it brought him to the point where he cried out for mercy from God and for forgiveness and for a new start and a new life. So if the first task of the law is to show us God and his holy nature and character, and the second task of the law is to be a restraint upon an evil world, the third but the greatest task of the law is to bring us down to realism, to pull us down. I am a sinner who needs a Saviour. I cannot keep all these laws. I have failed in so many ways. I deserve nothing but permanent alienation from God and punishment. So Paul is right. The law is our schoolmaster to bring us to Christ.